Welcome y'all to episode 8 of Modular Monday. Today we are going to be going over generative or self-generative modular synthesis. Some people call it generative, some people call it self-generative modular synthesis, but if you break it down to its basic core, it is basically just a set of parameters on any given synth that you put that let a sound or multiple sounds drone out or play out in some type of sequence and eventually evolve over time. So there's a lot of debate about this subject because a lot of people think it is considered cheating if you do things this way because you're just letting, in their words, a computer make the music for you, but in reality you have to physically patch this. It can't patch itself. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It's more of a computer. It just performs the functions that you set it up for. If you set up this LFO to go woo 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 woo, it's gonna do that until you tell it to stop. And guess what? You could send that wherever you want to modulate, positions or dry wet knobs or other LFOs or gates or triggers or envelopes, pitches, pretty much anything you could possibly imagine on a eurorack synth. So one of the big reasons that I really enjoy this is because it kind of gets you out of the box. I taught myself very formally, and it's very hard for me to make music that's not in standard chords or chord progressions or things that I've heard before or my brain tends to go to because it's the right thing to do musically, or that's what tends to be. With this, you can it's a little easier to step outside of the technicalities of actual music theory and get more nerdy with like the technical aspect, which is very fun to me. Keeps things interesting. It's a great way to go about sound design, to have a physical synth to actually program via MIDI, or like what we're going to be doing in this video, where actually this is going to be programming itself. So that's actually another good point to bring up, is this patch is completely self-generative. I did patch it and set it up, but it is clocking and triggering itself all within the synth. There is no outboard sequencing coming into it. It's not going anywhere. All the audio is processed within here as well, other than it being panned left and right in the DAW. So yeah, if you're very into computer music or blips and blops and sound design and a lot of randomness, which is very nice to people, I think, like me, who have that mindset of wanting to get out of the rules and out of the things that they've learned and what they know and really just explore something that you might not even know. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I just plug stuff in that I think might work, and half the time it works, half the time it doesn't, but that's kind of the beauty of it. Alright, so now to walk you through the patch, we have as the master clock, we have the 2 HP random here. That is, I always start by malting the clock just because I might end up using it for something I didn't in this case, so it just ends up triggering and clocking the Clep Diaz here, which is a step LFO sequencer, or just LFO, I guess. We've got the beginning of cycle here from the Clep Diaz, which is triggering the model switch every, I believe, 4 beats. The Clep Diaz is actually the one that is sequencing the plats here via the bipolar output of the Clep Diaz. And then the unipolar is malted to modulate the eudaimonia filter on the low-pass filter, and then the texture of the clouds. We've also got the unipolar modulating the timbre of the plats as well. We've got a quantized note sequence going out to trigger the volt per octave of the clouds, or the pitch of the clouds per se. I've just got the plats going into the eudaimonia, into the clouds, into the 2 HP random, and then out into my interface. We have the 2 unsynced LFOs from chips modulating the position and the size of clouds. And yeah, this is a fairly straightforward, it's a very, very simple patch in terms of what it does. Very simple forms of modulation, very simple actual routing of the synth voice itself. The randomness is what does it, as well as the texturizer of this. Reverb also helps a lot, and also just having a really solid sounding oscillator. It definitely goes a long way. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you have so far, I appreciate it. I hope you all learned something today. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next week.